Okay, this video is going to be about professional portfolios, help you understand a little bit more about those portfolios and what they will do for you. Now, the questions that always come up are, what is a professional portfolio? Why a professional portfolio? Why should I have to do it? And how is a professional portfolio created? So let's jump right in, talk about these things, talk about the parts of a portfolio, and try to help you with it. So what is a professional portfolio? It's a tool to organize information about you. This is an opportunity for you. It's a brag book. All right. When you go into an interview, most nurses will not go in and say, I am the best thing that you can ever have come in here to be hired, to be interviewed. Look at the great things that I've done. I am sharp. Most people aren't arrogant and do that. So you have to get past and be able, when you make this book, and then as they're going through this and they're seeing your accomplishments, this book, this portfolio is now doing that for you. Wow, I didn't know that that she was involved in organizing the suicide prevention walk, and wow, she has done several presentations on suicide prevention in the schools and at a nursing conference. Those are things you may not bring up normally in a interview, but then when they see this, they're saying this is someone we really want to work on our psych unit or whatever. It's a way to make you stand out above the competition. Now, it's as we said, it's a place for you to store your important papers, and it helps project, as we said, a very professional image of you. And that's why this has to look professional and be professional. This is your career in a binder. All right, why? All right, as we said, we need to put you out and distinguish yourself amongst the crowd. Now, in some areas where there is a nursing shortage, it may not be as huge a deal, but I will counteract that here in just a second. But in areas where there is a lot of competition, there are areas of the country where you post a position and no one really wants to leave, and within a couple hours there are 80 applicants. They shut the system down because if they post it for the 3 days, they're going to have 300 or 400 applicants that they have to go through. I've got to find a way to distinguish myself from the competition as I go in for this interview. Whether that's a employees market being hired, or whether it's a manager's market and they're coming in and they get to pick who they want because there is a lot of opportunity to pick from. It also provides proof of what I can do and what I'm competent in. So as we do this, you need to understand when I hire a nurse, and I've hired many nurses over the years, a nurse that comes in with a professional portfolio is anywhere from 5 to 15% higher up on the list than a nurse that doesn't have one. If I have 5 nurses that come in and one that has a professional portfolio and they're all equal, one that comes in with a professional portfolio, I'm probably going to hire the one with the professional portfolio if they're all equal. If I have 2 employees that are equal and I'm down to a final decision, one brought a professional portfolio and one didn't, usually the one that brought the professional portfolio, the majority of the time will be hired. Because it just lets me see deeper into things that I can't normally see about the individual. And some things I just can't ask because I don't have time. Okay. We talked about it. this, but it's a reflection in action. It gives me a reflection of you and gives me an idea about your future and what kind of employee that you're going to be. Now, developing a professional portfolio. We're going to walk you through how to develop a professional portfolio here. A professional portfolio, when you're first starting out as a nurse, you're not going to have much. So you need to plan for that. I had a nurse who would come through the program, and she'd been a nurse for over 30 years. She ended up with a 4-inch binder. She went out and bought a custom type binder, 4-inch binder, and it was completely full. 4 inches thick of material that she had. Her whole career's in. Some people are like, well, that's overkill. No, it's not. When I come into an interview and I bring in mine's several inches thick, and it's probably close to 3, but it shows my entire career, and it shows things back from 20 years ago, but that's who I am, and it says, oh, shows me a track record of evaluations from my first evaluation as an RN through today. Wow, okay, so I can see how they've progressed and what they've done. And this is why it is so important. So first thing first, get a binder that you can. I've seen some that don't put a cover on them, a slip-in cover and a clear plastic case on the cover, and that's fine. We've given you a template to use to help prepare your binder. Some people want to use it, some people want to modify it, some people want to do their own thing. The biggest thing is having a binder that looks professional, that says this is a professional portfolio. I had a student who came in, brought a 1-inch binder in. It was just plain purple, nothing on it, nothing that told me this was even anything. So if it was on my desk, it would not even stand out as a portfolio or an interview. It would just look like a binder that was set there. By it saying your name and a professional portfolio, it prompts interests. Oh, wow, I want to see this. That's what you need to do first. Get a binder, one that you can slip a cover in. If you want, I had one that had a bound, it was leather, and it had a small little opening on the front so you could see through to the title page that she put inside so you could see your name. Whatever, something that stands out that looks professional, that catches attention. All right, in it, I know this says personal philosophy, but first off, you're going to have your index in it, and your index will tell people where they go. It will be tabbed, and those tabs need to be labeled so that as people, and those tabs need to stick out past the edge of the pages. So you may have to get a little bit of a wider binder, or your dividers that you use, you may have to find tabs that have a little extension on it so that they stick out past the page. And then those pages that say personal philosophy, after that tab, that is slipped into a page protector and put in there. And I recommend that you put page protectors on all your everything in here. That way, as people are with their fingers and going over it, you're not getting smudges and smear and dirt. Also, no original documents should be put into your professional portfolio. Copy it, color copy them and put in or whatever. That way, if your professional portfolio is damaged, I had a student who was walking in and they tripped and they dropped their binder and it opened and it ended in the mud. If those are professional or original documents, they're ruined. I keep my original documents in a safe at home or in a filing cabinet. You can keep them in or whatever, something so that they're together. And then if one needs to be replaced, then you can replace it. But a personal philosophy is one of the first things you do. And this is what nursing means to you. It needs to be about 2 to 4 paragraphs long, and it needs to represent what you believe, your values, your beliefs. Put what is most important to you first in it. Go down through it. And make it personal. This gives me a 3D picture of you. Make it pop. Make it stand out. Make it meaningful. Some people will also call this a career statement. I had one. Now, I don't want a 5-page document because that's going to be too long, and I'm not going to read it. But I had a student who went in and talked about as a child that they were ill, and they saw this nurse, and this nurse took care of them, and what a wonderful job they did, and inspired them to become a nurse. All right. And what nursing really is. What I see sometimes in personal philosophies, nursing is about caring for patients. It is about giving. It is caring. It is providing for others in a time of need. Nurses work very hard. That's not what I want to hear. My teaching philosophy for when I came to work for UVU, I put in there about my first teaching position when I was 16 at a Boy Scout camp. I was teaching merit badges, and it prompted me to love to teach. As I was able to teach others and see a change in their life, it allowed me to develop into a better teacher. Now, there is a saying that you teach a man to, or you give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That is my philosophy. If I can teach and make a difference in a student's life and help them to now have a desire or passion to be better or to be able to provide this skill for someone else, then I have succeeded. There's a difference in those two. Make it personal. If you want to use a quote from someone that inspired you to become a nurse, then that's great. But don't just tell me what a nurse does. Tell me what a nurse is to you and what makes nursing meaningful to you. Now, professional accountability plan. Professional accountability plan is a 5-year plan. This is a plan that is going to tell me exactly where you're moving with your career over the next 5 years. Now, this is something that every year you're going to update. So as I put my 5-year plan, it'll say 2014. What are you going to accomplish? I don't want to see get experience as a nurse. Look for next job. I want to know what you're going to do. Graduate with BSN. Great. Obtain PALS certification. 2015, Advanced Cardiac Life Support certification. 2016, obtain a position in critical care unit. 2017, GRE, begin looking at CRNA schools. 2017, apply, or 2018, apply for CRNA school. This way, as I come into, as a manager, I'm flipping through it, I see that you have a long-term plan. It's not just, what are your long-term plans? Be a nurse. I want to see what your goals are. Now, is that going to shoo me away from hiring you? No, it tells me you have goals and you have a plan of where you're going with your career. Do I know that I'm going to have you long term? No, but I'm probably going to have you for a couple years. Now, as we said, long term is 12 to 24 months. But if I come into an ICU and I know that ultimately I'm going to be going to a CRNA school, which many do, one of the local hospitals just had 11 in the course of about 6 months leave for CRNA school. Now, well, that's a big hit. But in doing that, I know that you are going to continue to try to improve yourself. You're going to look for educational opportunities. You're going to make yourself better so that you can move on and become better in the profession. And by me helping you do that, I'm helping our profession by giving them better nurses. So my professional accountability plan, make it stand out. Don't just have a paragraph form. Never do paragraphs. Bulleted items. List the year, whatever, no more than 2 or 3 items. Sometimes it'll just be 1 item. Maybe it'll be just attend a National Med-Surg conference, recertify an ACLS. Okay. It tells me what you're looking at doing. Make something stand out. One of the best I ever saw was they put a syringe down the side of the page, and each of the 1cc marks had a year next written out, and then next to it listed the bulleted items. And that still to this day, that's been what, 3 years ago, still stands out in my mind. Whenever I talk about professional accountability plans, in my mind, I see that page. In an interview, if I'm looking through and I see that professional accountability plan and it stands out to me, I'm going to remember your name if I've got 20 interviews, and you're going to stand out even better. That's the end of part one of this lecture. Take a break, walk around, and hopefully this will help you a little bit more with understanding about professional portfolios.